Hello guys, Brad here with another fragrance review, and today's review will be on Bond Number 9's Bleecker Street, a fragrance that was introduced in 2005 and is classified unisex and as an oriental woody. The top notes: violet leaf, blueberry, thyme and cassis. Middle notes of cedar, jasmine and cinnamon, and in the base, oak moss, suede, patchouli, amber and vanilla. Over base notes, we have 32 positives, 11 neutrals, and 7 negatives. So overall, did quite well with base noters. Let me show you what I'm working with here. This is what I had, a little bonbon sample that the Bond Number 9 fragrances are available in. It was wrapped up in this little neon purple wrapper. So I actually got 3 wearings at work with this fragrance. It's all empty now. And first thing I want to say is that a lot of reviewers will compare Bleecker Street with Purple Label, and I totally agree with that comparison. In fact, if anybody knows about Purple Label, it's me, because I have the 4.2 bottle, and I bought this from Ralph Lauren's website. It was about $100, so even Purple Label is rather pricey. I'm not sure what kind of prices you can get on Purple Label these days. I think sometimes you'll find it very expensive. Maybe some people are finding it discounted here and there. It's hard to say. I haven't really been doing my homework on Purple Label as of late. But when I did buy Purple Label initially, I thought this could be it. This could be my signature scent, maybe my Holy Grail scent. But when I tested it out, I was quite disappointed, because it did remind me a lot of Ralph Lauren's Romance Silver. So you can kind of guess that when I tested Bleecker Street and I thought that was similar to Purple Label, now I have a fragrance that reminds me of a fragrance that reminds me of another fragrance. So that really put sort of a dagger in my review here. I mean, a lot of people that have reviewed Bleecker Street haven't really even smelled either Silver Romance or Purple Label. So from their perspective, the fragrance is going to be different. If I hadn't smelled those 2 fragrances, definitely would be more impressed with this one. But if you have smelled the Purple Label slash Silver Romance, I think you're going to be more disappointed. So there's that. But I did a side-by-side just to double check to make sure that maybe I wasn't missing something. And when I did a side-by-side, I did notice some differences, and I actually did think that Bleecker Street was probably a little bit more pleasant. Not, amazingly more pleasant, but slightly more pleasant. The blueberry was a little bit more noticeable. If you've ever smelled Montauk from Bond Number 9, that kind of a blueberry smell does show up in Bleecker Street as well. Although Bleecker Street and Montauk are not similar scents at all, I would still say that Bleecker Street is a lot more similar to Purple Label, but it does have a little bit of that blueberry-like smell from Montauk. But let me kind of try to describe the smell as I perceive it. It's definitely, like I said, the blueberry is definitely there. But to me, the blueberry is not like this fresh blueberry. Even like Montauk is like a very fresh blueberry scent to my nose. This is, like I said, it's an oriental smell. There's something in there. And in the original, Purple Label, it was a tobacco flower that gave like this very elegant, refined quality. And there's no tobacco mentioned here in Bleecker Street, which kind of surprised me, because there's also something in Bleecker Street that kind of gives me that refined vibe, like a tobacco type note. Maybe it's the patchouli or a combination of other notes. It just kind of gives it like a very refined, a very classy smell. So kind of like almost like a tobacco mixed with blueberry. Florals in the mix. Let's see, am I missing anything else? I don't really get a lot of the sweetness. For something with amber and vanilla, it didn't come across as really sweet. It did have some sweetness in it, but definitely, I think, definitely a more mature smell, not like a really like candy or feminine fragrance. Um, and also, it's like a spicy quality to it, almost like a pepper. So very rich, elegant, floral blueberry, almost like a tobacco type smell. It's kind of what I get out of Bleecker Street. And I would highly recommend that you test Bleecker Street side by side with Purple Label, and maybe if you also can, maybe Silver Romance, just to give yourself a better idea of what you're actually purchasing. Um, Now, a lot of people do say that Bleecker Street does last a lot longer than Purple Label, and I haven't really, like I said, I haven't worn Purple Label in a while, so I don't know what kind of projection longevity I get from Purple Label. But I do know, even though Bleecker Street didn't scream off of my skin like Riverside Drive or Aventus, it did seem to linger around my skin for many hours. I'd say 5 to 7, 8 hours. It's still uh, making its scent. So let me get into some scoring here. The overall smell, I'm going to give 7.5 out of 10. I probably could have gone a little bit higher, but like I said, uniqueness for me was lacking. A lot of people would say it's very unique, but since I've smelled the Ralph Lauren fragrances, I'm going to give it 5 out of 10 for uniqueness. Projection longevity, pretty good, 7.5 out of 10, because even though it's kind of a soft scent, it kind of reminded me like the kind of projection you would expect from like Gucci by Gucci or Gucci Pour Homme 2, that kind of a soft projection, but the scent lingers. So 7.5 out of 10. Versatility, 7.5 out of 10. Probably not something I'd wear to the beach or outside on a really hot day, but perfect for office wear. It could be a signature scent. Um, Definitely probably more versatile than your run-of-the-mill oriental fragrance. Price point, Bond fragrances generally going to run like $150, $200. So 3 out of 10 for the price point. Overall, I give it 6 out of 10. Great smell. Unfortunately, from my experience with my already owning the Purple Label, kind of killed the mood for me a little bit on this one. Took away the joy. So I would recommend checking into prices on Purple Label. Maybe trying to get a sample or maybe a tester or something just to get a whiff of it if it's easily available. But then again, since Purple Label might actually be very expensive now that it's, I believe it might be discontinued or hard to find, you might actually be just as well off getting Bleecker Street anyway, because I can't really see spending $200 for Purple Label, but maybe Bleecker Street could be worth it if you didn't already own the big bottle like I did. So those are my thoughts. Definitely worth checking out. A nice, different kind of an oriental fragrance. So thanks for watching, and I'll talk to you guys later.